Hi, Pisces. First, I want to really thank the ones who have been donating. Um, you've been of so much support, and I am so grateful for you guys. And for everybody else who is still here for a long time, and we really appreciate your presence. Now, we are in the sandwich of this eclipse season. Yesterday, we had this solar eclipse, new moon in Aries, and we're heading towards this full moon in Scorpio, lunar eclipse in 2 weeks. Taurus energy is very strong now. And what does it mean? We are in a space, in a portal actually, an opportunity that is grandiose, where we can shift, we can choose a new life, a new us, to live in our higher self. Taurus energy has to do with anchoring, stability, but also home. What does home feel to you? What is home for you? And simplicity, connecting to nature, finding those connective moments where you're able to feel alive, and that becoming your state, permanent state. Now we fall out of it, right? But the focus, the attention needs to be slowly on this elevated consciousness, on this elevated, this higher sense of who we are, this deeper sense of who we are, living from the soul and no longer from our ego, from our memories, our traumas, our emotions, but living from this lighter, more loving way of being. And all of this opportunity between those two eclipses, have to do with the fire within ourselves. How do we manage it? Do we let our darkest fears, our darkest patterns of anger come out? Or do we use them? Do we transmute them into creativity, into channeling, into making beauty out of, the dark? The dark is here for us to bring the light to it. If there was no darkness, there would be no light. And so we're getting into this consciousness that is more unified, where there's no duality, where there's good and bad or judgment, where we're getting into this space of more observing, of more being a little bit behind, or we could say higher than all the drama that is happening. It's been a whirlwind. You probably felt this a few days ago, perhaps now, where things have been accelerated, where we are asked to physically, materially manifest things that perhaps put us in out of comfort zone, where there are things that we're not used to do, ways of being or going through our days that we're not used to, having to deal with things that are perhaps different. But yeah, we are being pushed, and this is for us to choose the love, choose the higher, choose the bliss. There is this opportunity to connect to the cosmic beings, to the higher frequencies. It's massive right now. So can you choose to see, recognize what is going on, but not identify with it, feel all of it, but have that space, that momentum where you don't react, you act? That could be triggering from other people, but it could be also triggering from your own ego, from your own mind, that is like, feeling that you're getting out of it, that you're not believing in it anymore. And now it's holding on tighter and tighter. It's bringing more thoughts, more obsessions, more attachments, more emotions. But you are not that. We are not that. There's this astrologer that I love, that is, her name is Pam Gregory. I would definitely recommend to look at her videos. She also works with quantum physics, and she has interviews. There was one recently with a channeler that is talking about all of this physical shift that we're going through in consciousness. So see, it's no longer consciousness and the physical. It's like now we are melding into that. And so it's so important. I'll get into the cards now, but it's so important that we nurture the frequency at which we are living. And this frequency is internal, and it has to do with living in the faith, the love, and our higher self. Okay, so of course you started with Five of Wands. Five of Wands, it's everything that has to do with drama, with ego, with problems, with competitions, with comparing ourselves to to others. I'm sorry. And also, we just entered Mercury retrograde, so when it comes to communication, that could be issues with that, or also technological breakdowns or things that are a bit harder. But that's because it's a moment for us to review internally, to go into, okay, what is not working and how can we make it work? Finding creative ways, and truly the importance here is to not compare ourselves to others, but to compare ourselves to our old self. How have we shifted, grown? You actually had this card here, Nine of Autumn, that has to do with reward yourself for all your hard work, being happily and successfully self-employed, cherishing your time alone. So we are stepping into our talents, our gifts, and we are asked to tap into them so that we actually contribute to why we're here. We're here for a reason. And what is the most natural to you should be exactly that. Don't force yourself to anything. Yes, there is discipline. We need to put in work every day, practical work, write a line, write I don't know, a melody, do this, deal with taxes, deal with paperwork, learn a new thing. But all those little things that you do every day, let them be done without thinking. It's not easy, but it should be natural. So follow what feels natural, and just know that it's not going to be easy. It can't be perfect, right? Don't get overwhelmed with your own self. This came underneath with the star. So you see how there's like so many people, humans, and drama and ego and fight, this forcing everything. And here we have this energy of surrender, and she is holding on to what? To the star, to the cosmos, to the higher than all that is happening here in the world. And in the two, you can see that there's fire. This Aries energy has been so prominent. And of course, the solar eclipse is in Aries, was in Aries. And so this fire needs to be used. This fire needs to be transmuted. Let the fire burn within you as you're holding on to the higher. Don't get lost in this. Focus on this. We did have something about focus, but it's coming here. Focusing, what you focus on, what you put your attention on is what you will manifest. If you feel love, vibration of love within you, you will attract that no matter what your circumstance is. Patience is needed, Pisces. You have actually here another star card that came through. By the way, number 7 is very important. We have 7777. So, and that has to do with actually 2023. 3 plus 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, it is 7. So this number in numerology has to do with contemplation, with meditation. We have Saturn in Pisces, remember, for 3 years. It has to do with spiritual integrity. How are we making the rigid into something more malleable, more mystical? How are we using our energy? The star here is look to the future with hope and optimism. The power of faith, Pisces and Saturn in Pisces. The power of faith to move mountains. Saturn has to do with Capricorn, mountains. It's not easy, but with faith, we can make it, right? It's not easy, and nothing here is easy, especially right now. Out of comfort zone, stress, tension. But as we keep the faith and the focus internally, we can make it, Pisces. Happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. So when we are at the bottom means that there's only up, right? And that everything shall pass. Remember, a day that is woof, completely, everything falls down. There is always a solution to a problem. There is a problem because there is a solution. Remember, there's the dark because there's the light. There's the light because it's the dark. Okay? A big theme coming in through as well. 2 cards of the Fool. Number 0. We're starting over. We're starting over. And you have the choice here. The Lover is coming through just after this. You have a choice now. Here, the Dreamer, you have to have faith in your dreams. Continue, put in the practical work, even if it's not easy every single day. But just jump, don't think, go. Leap of faith. Here it's saying embrace your true purpose, begin a new adventure, trust yourself. It's not because, things are not easy that they are not supposed to be. It's different from forcing. If you feel within your heart that this is something really important for you, you have to follow through. Okay. Now the Lovers came. That has to do with choice. Gemini energy. The Lovers and Ace of Wands. You choose your fire. And look, the fire here is at the third eye. The Ace of Wands is a very passionate new beginning. It's following your creativity. It's also very sexual. Also here is very sexual energy with the Lovers. It could have to do with a twin flame energy, but doesn't have to be. But especially if it gets intense in relationships right now, you need to recognize the mirror that the other is. It's not about the other. It's never about the other. It's always about you. See, there's 2, but then here she is inside, right? You remember we had before the drama and all that, and then she was holding up to the star. Here she's holding her gaze within, right? So the balance here needs to take place. When you truly get out of the head and you dive into the heart is a portal to unified consciousness, because there's no duality. There's no this is wrong, this is bad, right? Everything can actually manifest at the same time. If there's differences in a relationship, we're all different, but there is something that unifies us. There is space for difference. That's the richness of the unified consciousness. And through the portal, the heart is the portal to unified consciousness, because there's no judgment. It's expansion, right? Now, of course, we have to go through the moon, 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is restless nights. It's, our darkness. It's anxiety. It's fear. And this is seen in the moon, the subconscious, the Scorpio. And this is calling to the lunar eclipse we're going towards right now in Scorpio. This is very scorpionic energy. But again, there's the dark and the light, right? The emotions need to be recognized, need to be seen. Remember, we don't have to react. We can act with space, right? So it's a matter of diving. Sorry, because when I'm channeling, the energy get up. It gets up here too, so it makes the nose very itchy. That could be happening for you too. If when you are, your energy is a bit heavy, there's tension, and then you start to relax, you will start to feel a rise, and the rise actually happens physically. Remember, there's no physical or spiritual. It all happens. We have to feel this frequency. We have to become this frequency. But yeah, here, look, she's falling down. She's going into the darkness, into the depth. But this can be used, Pisces. This can be used. Once you recognize that you are not that, you are more than that. that all this can be transformed. Scorpio has to do with transformation, with death and rebirth. It's not death to die, it's death for life. Again, dark light. Now, you are working and you need to work towards your 10 of Cups. Here you go. Work, practical steps, baby steps, a step at a time. And you'll get there. It's here. It's within your frequency. If you feel in your body this state, you will manifest the state. We have a power of manifestation that is very, very tangible right now with this portal open. So we need to use it for the good, for the light, for growth. And you finish here with 4 of Wands and 6 of Wands. 4 of Wands is a strong energy also right now. 4 of Wands, stability. It's also a union card for twin flame energy. And 6 of Wands is allowing yourself to be seen, being center stage, victory. So community, family, homecoming, coming to you, coming to what makes you feel light. It's not so much about the light being on you. That will come naturally without you thinking about it. But if you follow the light within you, this will happen. Okay? So, most importantly, with whatever is going on right now, Pisces, just know that there are spirits to guide you. There are spirits to guide you, but you need to be aware. You need to be connected. It's like antennas. If you are crowded by your mind, by heaviness, by stress, by anxiety, and by depression, you won't allow the communication to happen. You won't allow the connectivity to happen, right? It's a radio station. We need to be at a higher frequency to be able to elevate and to be elevated. There is help, invisible help, but we need to become that invisible to connect with the invisible. We are so caught up in the 3D thing, we won't be able to connect, right? She's connecting. You have to make believe. That's coming on. Things that you don't know how to do, that you're afraid of. Make believe. Become someone else. Be you, right? But your dream version of you, become that, right? Become that. Be that. The power of intention is huge. The sword, cutting through the truth. This is divinely guided, and it's also cutting. You have a serpent here. It has to do with healing. Cutting through the old skin, shedding the old skin, becoming anew here. The mother, feminine energy, which has to do with allowing more than forcing. Fire mother. Let the fire burn with gentleness, right? Like we saw before. There are 2 types of fire. The angry fire, the reactive fire, and the other one, the one that transmutes that calms it, but makes something beautiful out of it. It's a spark. And you have here shared tenderness, if it has to do with a relationship. Find the middle point. If you become whatever is your partner is going through, if you stay in the love frequency, that will be mirrored to you. Whatever is going on around you, you have to stand your ground. You have to be courageous in those moments. And don't become, as an empath, the other, or be submerged by the preoccupations of another or the stress of another. Always come back to the tenderness, right? The love, the true love here. And of course here, you got in Spanish, the vision that is higher. Always stay there. The higher vision. Now here we have shattered. We are being shattered. Everything is being shattered in our world in many different ways for every single one of you. But surrender to the flow. Don't resist it. It's here for a reason. You being shattered, perhaps broken into pieces, so that light can enter. You see? So that light can enter. And the lotus here has to do with enlightenment, awakening. Keep your focus. Tremendous focus here with the owl on the higher. Fly. Don't let anything bring you down, because this is what you can do. It's a grandiose symphony. A lot of creativity here, music, art, whatever. It could be anything. Creativity is not just art. It's how do you live creatively, meaning not in a rigid, logical way. How do you live and flow? That's being creative. It has nothing to do with what you create, really. It's how you are, your being. How are you alive? And yes, we are in a space in between. We are here. We're in the space in between. But there's a bridge. It's like a spaceship here, right? You're able to, if you're able to have the faith and go there, even though, here it's empty and you could fall, but you don't think about that. You keep your eyes up, not down. If you keep your eyes down, you will fall. If you keep your eyes up, you will get there. Once you're here, it's uncomfortable still. But if you still have the courage to go on the other side, and here you still have to look up and not down, then you make it. Right? And so here they're saying, let it go. Has to do with the heart. The heart that was all tied up needs to be let go of, needs to be untied. And that relates to the expansion of the heart. Not the little heart that is attached emotionally. We're talking about the ecstasy, the feeling of love, of bliss, of joy for itself, by itself. And this can be shared, of course, but it has to come from here, not from any external circumstance or people. 9 of Summer, 9 of Cups, wishes come true, dreams fulfilled, a magical time of life. This is what we're heading towards. This is what we can manifest. So for this to manifest, we need to manifest it here internally, now, not in the future, now. And this will come into fruition. Finally, talking about Taurus, the magic of the earth. Go barefoot. Natural, connect, simplify, go slower, and see what happens. This will always get very complicated. We need to get out there. Every day we need to get outside a little bit, if we are working with computer stuff, things like that. We need to get out there. Go for a walk. Wherever you are, in the street, in the city, doesn't matter. There's always some sun. There's always something. Water somewhere that you can connect with. A tree, a bird that you can be with within the moment, right? So with everything happening, the acceleration of so many different things at so many different levels, slow down. Be here. Keep your sanity in this way, okay? And don't try to figure it out. Just be. We're here to feel alive and feel the higher frequency. Feel the love. Feel the joy. If this doesn't exist, why do anything? It's about being. From that being, everything follows through. Okay. So Pisces, I love you. I hope this was helpful. And I will see you very soon. Take care.